whatever I can bring, and then
What was the concentration in the weight room? Strength, flexibility, both for you?
I think both. I think flexibility. I mean, strength for sure. It's always a main focus of course. In the off season though, to get as strong as possible because you can't lift that heavy during the season, but to then be able to apply that strength that we're getting on the court. So being able to use that strength that we're getting, but also everything we do, all of it is mobility as well. 'Cause you can't be stiff.
How much do you and Paige think about, you wanted to come here to be with her to win a bunch of national championships. You've both suffered through a lot of injuries. How much do you talk about, man, if we can get 1 year together where we're both healthy, what can we do? And how is that for you going into this season?
I think that we talked a lot about it before, when she got hurt, and we're like, oh my gosh, we're not going to play together. But now that she's been back, we haven't really talked about it. I think we've been more focused on, not wasting any time, not taking any of our time on the floor for granted. So that really hasn't been a topic. I think we've just been focused on getting good workouts in.
You mentioned consistency and being able to play consistently. What are you doing differently now in terms of trying to stay healthy and minimizing any risk of injury?
We do a lot of stuff in the weight room with Hootie, a lot of strength stuff, and then stuff just staying on top of things with Janelle, just making sure I'm doing my rehab, my prehab, like he said, like my mobility stuff, and just making sure I'm doing everything that I can control to keep myself on the floor.
Are you doing more prehab than normal?
A little bit, yeah.
Paige talked about playing with a free mind. Do you play with a free mind at this point in your college career?
I think that's something I still am working towards, kind of playing without thinking, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an overthinker. So I guess I'm the same way, just working on like playing freely, like not worrying about a mistake, not worrying about what's going to happen, just playing.
Is that the biggest growth you've probably made here? Is the mental part of your game overall? Because it probably came so easy until you got here, right?
Yes, I think so. I think that was one of the hardest adjustments, and I think I struggled with that my whole freshman year. And like looking back at my game film and watching myself, I can see like that's not the player I am, how I played. So like that's been, ever since that year ended, that was my goal, like never to play like that again. Like I gotta fix, like I'm sorry, I'm out of it today, but kind of just focusing on trying to get my mental side stronger and healthier, which is something that you can't fix in the weight room or with Janelle in the training room. It's something you got to work on your own.
I asked Paige about when she started to trust her knee again. She said it happened before she even got on the floor, but as her teammate, as somebody who's known her game really well, when did you see her oh, she's back, she trusts her knee?
I feel like that's kind of a difficult question because there's so many milestones to coming back. So first seeing her back out here, I don't even remember when it was, but I remember the first time we played pickup, and I'm like, how does she just go from playing, then getting hurt, to playing again, and then getting hurt and not playing at all one season, to then having the confidence that she does on the floor, her first pickup game back. So that always amazes me. But I think still every practice, every workout, she's still getting better and more comfortable, and you just used to being on the floor again, and used to having 4 workouts in a week and all that pound on her body. So I feel like she's still coming back. I know where she was before, and her potential where she will be. But I think that, from the day she stepped foot on the court, I'm like, how does she look good already?
Azzi, before she got hurt, she placed an emphasis on becoming a stronger guard because of the physical way opponents play her. She feels like she's made strides, it was a productive year on that front despite the setback and having to focus on her ACL. But have you seen strides where, the last few years, where probably this year she'll be a little stronger, capable of absorbing contacts better than she would have in years past?
100%. I think she was really able to take the positive out of such a negative situation, and one of those things was her strength training. She's gotten so much stronger. So I think that, like I said, we've been working on not only lifting heavy, but then being able to apply it on the floor. So I think that's going to be a huge difference for her this year.
Is that part of her maturation too? I mean, you've known her a long time, and she has said she hasn't always taken that stuff so seriously. Mm-hmm. Now she does.
No, yes. We talk about how we have different colors for some of the weights in there, and like our freshman year, or me and my freshman year, like her sophomore year, she wouldn't want to lift like above like a green, like a 25, and now she's lifting blues, which are 45. So we kind of said how it is kind of mental, like seeing the color on there, but she has come a long way in there.
When you talk about your own mental growth and like how it's something you have to work on by yourself, it's not something that like someone can tell you in a weight room or whatnot. What do you do to really grow that aspect of your game or your mental side?
So it's something I'm still working on.
Yeah.
I read a book last summer, and so like I'll go back and I'll reread certain chapters or things that stand out to me. And then I feel like just like listening to music, just like quiet time to myself. I'm working on journaling, and then I've started going to like church and AA with Ice and Paige. I think that's helped.
How much does your mentorship with Steph Curry like help with that aspect of learning how to really make those negative thoughts go away?
That's a resource that I should use more with this, that I don't. And now that you said that, I think that's a sign that I should reach out.
What was the book that you read?
Oh gosh, now I forget the title of the book.
She'll text you.
Yeah, it's right next to my bed too. I forget the title.
When Paige steps on the court, can people tell how much she missed it? Can you
Yes.
say you could sense that?
Oh, 100%. Because, I mean, maybe it's just like we missed her, so like we all appreciate having her back, but you can just like feel like how happy she is to be back, and then like after practice, like she gets yelled at, she does something, and like she's not even mad. I forget what she said to coach, but like she's not even mad about it because like she's on the floor, or like she's grateful to be able to turn the ball over and miss a shot rather than having to sit on the side.
We all know what the goal around here is, but what's the sense of urgency in doing it this year? And is there pressure, or is it that sense of just being grateful to be out there and be able to play, or is it a combination of everything? And how do you balance that, knowing what the fans' expectations are?
I think it's a balance of everything. Like I said, I mean, this team, this program has been through so much this last few years with injuries and, not being like, not taking playing for granted, but we're not just grateful to be out here. Like, it's not like, oh, like I'm just happy to play. Like we still have a goal in mind. We still have something we're looking forward to reach for, expectations. So, I mean, I think that's always in the back of everyone's mind. It's kind of like the unspoken thing, but I mean, we've been working really hard everywhere, weight room, training room, on the floor. So, I mean, like I said, it's that unspoken thing.
Have you seen enough from Paige to know that her greatness from that first full season is going to come back and that fans are going to see that level of basketball or better?
I mean, I think that's just who Paige Bueckers is. Like, she is one of those one-of-a-kind players where you don't see what she has in other players. Like, it's just special. So I have no doubts in my mind that she's going to be amazing this season.
Azzi, I know you're going to reach out to Steph now, but do you tap into the coaching staff? Because talk about mentally tough. Gino likes to play the games. How much have they helped you in that aspect of it?
I mean, they're a great resource. I feel like every coach brings something different. So, like, depending on what I need, I can go talk to Morgan, I can talk to Tanya, Jamel. So I am very grateful for everyone up there, even the support staff. They're great resources to talk to as well.
Best piece of advice you've gotten from them off the top of your head? I know you said you're out of it today, but...
Oh gosh. I can't think of something specific, but Morgan will send me texts like every once in a while, whether it's before workouts, after workouts, and she'll just like little reminders, like great work today, like keep doing this, or like just like little advice things, and I think that's really helpful.
Get it together.
Thank you.
Get it together. We want to see.
I think that off season I just tried to expand and improve on just whatever I was doing last season, just to get better at things, both offensively and defensively, and just get prepared for whatever's needed of me this season.
Can you talk about the front court? Obviously, you lost Shauna for the injury and everything, but you have some people that we haven't seen before. Ice is coming back.
Yeah.
So what does the front court look like to you?
Yeah, I think that the past couple of preseason practices that we've been in and workouts, I think that me and Ice have been working more on like our chemistry and getting kind of like to that level of like where me and Dorka were, so that we can get into our high-low bag. But I think that having Ice as an addition to the team, being impactful on the court, is going to be great for us this season. So I'm excited.
Aaliyah, despite
When
Paige,
Paige steps on the court, do you see sense how much she's missed being out there?
Yeah, I think how much she's missed and how much the team has missed her as well. I know I have. I think, the dimes and the vision that she sees on the court really helps us be successful offensively and defensively. So we definitely missed that. And I think her leadership as well is a crucial part of our team. And just glad that she's back and I could play alongside with her.
Aaliyah, what about her physically? She said, despite the setback versus freshman year, she's put on 15 pounds. She feels stronger. Before she got injured, she had already focused on trying to be stronger to deal with really physical defenders. Do you see her, not just since she's been back, but over the years, having become a stronger, more sturdy player, do you think?
Absolutely. I think that she'll tell you that she's the strongest on the team, which is cap. But you can definitely see the growth and how attentive she is with her, like whatever she's doing with Hootie in the weight room and applying it to the court. And, sometimes you can see that she's a big guard and she's needed in those positions. But I think that she's just ready for the season, ready to play for a team, play for her coaches, and ready to play for UConn Nation. So I think that anything that you've seen her done or seen improved in her is really her mindset and it speaks to her character.
Has your mindset as teammates changed, like during practice, like step off a little bit, or when she comes down the lane, you still kind of showing her that you're a little stronger?
No. Especially if I'm guarding her, there's no mercy at all. Because I think that we're both competitors, and that's what we each love about the game. And she's here to get better. I'm here to get better. So, and our team is here to get better. So it's kind of everybody's going at 100%.
Has it sunk in yet? This is the start of your senior year?
No, it hasn't. I think academically it has, but in terms of the season and basketball, with it being the first day of practice, I'm just excited to, tap into this season.
Is
Aaliyah,
there more
how
attention?
stronger are you from this point last year?
I would say much stronger mentally. I say physically, I'm staying in shape, doing all the things that coach needs of me to do, but I think that mentally I'm just really locked in, ready for whatever he needs me to do or the team to do.
Is there more sense of urgency for this team with the number of upperclassmen, potential seniors, maybe have another year, maybe don't want to have another year, that you got to get what you came here to get done this year?
Yeah, I think, the goal is what we really don't speak of until when the time counts in March, but I think every day, every practice leading up to it, we work towards our goal, and it's to put the 12th banner up there. But as I said, it's just something that we don't really talk about or think about in the moment, but we work towards it because I think everyone just understands what needs to get done here.
Aaliyah, you said at one point your mom's advice to you was the biggest room in the house is the room for improvement. That's kind of stuck with me. So what room did you work on this offseason that you want to see yourself take the next step in?
I think just many aspects of my game. I think the offseason I was able to bless to play with my national team and to grow in that aspect, coming back into the UConn role and to my leadership, I was able to carry over many characteristics that I learned with my national team and playing against pros. And I think towards my game, I'm just looking to be a better player than what I put on last season. I'm not sure what that will look like right now, but I think that I'm just ready to be there for my team and for my coaches.
When you talk about getting mentally stronger compared to last year, like what are the specific areas where you've seen that or that you worked on in that regard?
I mean, basketball is a tough game, and for the past 3 years now, personally, I haven't gotten to where I want to as a team, and I know that we can accomplish more than what we've shown and what we've put out. So I think just holding that to my chest, wearing my heart on my sleeve, and putting that into practice every day is really what I've tapped into mentally. And I know that it's more than capable. I know that we can do it. It's more about actually getting it done.
Speaking of the mental part of the game, Paige said that one of the biggest things, she learned in her year off, on the bench, was just watching the game and seeing it in a different perspective. Have you seen that new formed part of her basketball IQ filter into practice yet so far? I know it's only the first day, but.
Yeah, it's only been a little bit, but for sure. I mean, Paige has always been a student of the game. So have I. I think that, we always take time to watch film, watching like WNBA playoffs, and just watching basketball, being around basketball helps you grow the game off the court, and you can apply it onto the court. So I think Paige, having her being one of the leaders on the team, it really helps not only the upperclassmen but the freshman class and the sophomore class as well. Them just kind of trying to find their foot into this team and just not being scared of taking chances. I think it's helpful.
What did you learn about, or what did you wish you knew as a freshman that you know?
That's a good question, but I don't think anything can really prepare you for what's to come. I think as a freshman, just to be fearless. Not saying that I wasn't, but just to know that it's okay to make mistakes. You're a freshman, you're supposed to. It's all about learning, but I think also the teammates that I've had when I was a freshman, and especially my freshman class with like Paige and Nika, growing up with that team and with that class has really helped me to just tap into myself as a player on the court and also off the court, and have sisters in the team that's here at UConn. So I think that just as a freshman, and what I tell the other freshmen is just to be fearless. It's okay to make mistakes, just be confident in whatever you're doing.
Coach just talked about you taking that next step to be a first-team All-American. Are you ready for that?
I'm ready for anything, really. But as I said, my goal is to, as a team, is to get where we got to and beyond last year in terms of our goals. And I think that we're capable of achieving the best of the best.
Aaliyah, what's it like to defend ice? You talked about the offensive chemistry earlier, but when you go up in her practice, what are we going to see when defenders are trying to keep her from getting to the hoop?
She's very assertive. I think that she knows what she wants to do. Is able to put the ball into the hoop, so it's really about outsmarting her, which is good for me. But I think that as an offensive threat, she's just, as going back to what I was saying about the freshman, she's just fearless. I think she knows what she wants to do, knows how to get to the basket, knows how to put the ball in the hoop. So it's exciting to see what she's going to help our team do this year.
What's the biggest growth you've seen?
This time of year, what have you learned from your first year or two getting ready for the beginning of practice so you don't overextend, at this point and you're ready for the whole season?
I think just physically being ready and mentally being ready. I know that, preseason we go through a whole bunch of workouts and stuff, but it's really put to the test when we start practices because you're doing that every day and you're asked to be excellent or to like a UConn standard every day. So it's more a challenge, more of a pressure, but it's healthy pressure and it's going to prepare us for what's to come in the long run.
What's the biggest growth you've seen in freshman Nika versus now senior Nika?
Less turnovers. I think that she's just a more mature guard. I think that she's really tapped into what it means to be a guard here at UConn, which is difficult. And I think that she is the energy that the whole team needs, and building off of her is what's going to help us be successful. It's not just going to come from her, but it has to come from every one of us. So I think that as a leader, that's what I'm really trying to hold accountable to myself is to, she's going to set the standards, so we all got to be accountable of ourselves and accountable together as a team.
You talked a lot about watching and playing with pros over the summer. Is there somebody whose game that you watched, Alyssa Thomas, Asia Wilson, someone that you see and say, that's something I can incorporate into my game, that's a level that I want to pursue passion-wise, anything like that? Who would it be?
I mean, it's tough because I think all three, the MVP contenders, they're all my kind of position or all kind of players I look up to because they help my game, whether that's being a scorer like Stewie or being able to finish with contact like Alyssa Thomas or just being dominant as like Asia Wilson. I think that everybody really complements each other, and I think it's just great to watch women's basketball in general because you can nitpick whatever you like from each player and you can kind of make it your own. So that's how I take it.
Wait, did you know Paige quite well pre-UConn?
I wouldn't say quite well, but I played against her many times because we were both on the national team kind of spectrum. So I saw her when we played against like U17, I believe, in like Argentina, and then also in Belarus as well. So, it was we were more competitors at that time than like friends and sisters. But I've known her for a while.
Someone's personality obviously can change drastically from age, 15 or 16 to 20 or 21. How have you seen her change, if at all?
I think as a person, I got to know her more when I got to college, obviously, but prior to college, it was more just like I see her as a fiery like competitor, which kind of attracted me because I'm a competitor as well. But you know, coming to UConn and being in the same class, I think that we've just gone through so many struggles, so many wins, so many losses. But I think overall we've just grown together. I think with Nika as well, I think that's just a special class for me.
Thank
Aaliyah.
you.
Get on the court and go up and down 5-on-5, full contact.
Yeah, I'm feeling really good. I'm in a really good place, physically, mentally. Still sort of like getting the rust off. I haven't played in over a year, so it's gonna take some time to adjust and get my rhythm and flow back. But super excited just for practice to start, for games to be in the distance in which we can see, and just super excited to be on the court with my girls.
Paige, what's the last thing to come back when you're trying to knock the rust off?
I would say obviously physically you get cleared. Mentally there's still that block of being able to be confident in your body and your knee, and there's always a fear of injury, but not letting that take over you on the court, and just going out there and being sort of in a free state of mind when you're playing basketball. But I think just getting like the conditioning back is like the hardest part, and then just the rhythm in which you're playing and what you did before, and then carrying that into sort of the road to recovery, I would say.
How different is your routine and just how you practice now versus before your ACL injury?
I would say there's a lot more activation, doing like more maintenance work in the training room and rehab on just sort of like prehab, just to make sure everything is ready to go before I step out on the court. But just a lot of the same things, I would say, just a lot of activation and making sure my body's ready to go before I actually step out on the court.
I think I read somewhere that you and Azzi have played something like 15 full games together over the years you've been here. So can you just talk about what you guys have been talking about, the possibility of both of you being on the court for a full season together and what that can mean for this team?
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of learned to not speak about the future and just sort of stay in the present, in the moment, because never, like, in these past couple years, we think we'd only have played 15 games together. So sort of just getting our flow back together in practice, and not looking too much into the future and just sort of staying in the present. But you can't really help the excitement in which being healthy around this time means, and like sort of just the happy moments in practice of just being able to finally be on the court again together, not just with her but with everybody. So we're all just excited and ready to go.
Are you full go now?
Yeah, I'm full go, yes.
Paige, how do you greater appreciation now of after going through everything to be back, to be involved, to be back as it was when you first came to Storms?
Yeah, I think whenever you go through an injury or just a period of time which you're missing the game and you're missing your passion, you're missing what you love to do, you come back and you want to never take it for granted again. You want to love every moment you step on the court, whether it be for practice, for a game, for a lift, for a workout, and just make sure that you never take it for granted again, and every single time you step on the floor, you're blessed to be able to be where you are.
David, how do you reflect back on just your life the past year? Because you didn't get to play games, but you put in countless hours of basketball work rehabilitating. You also were very active in NIL. I'm sure a large part of you can look back on it as like a really productive year in your life.
Yeah, I think obviously you don't ever want these injuries to happen, but I think what I did with it was very positive, in terms of changing my habits, changing who I am, changing what I do, and then still being able to make an impact, whether it be on the court or off the court with my teammates or off the court. Just trying to make this world a better place with NIL. So I would say, obviously looking at the silver lining and the blessing in disguise, I think this will work out well for me in the long term. Just having to deal with what I had to now so I can better my future, I think was important.
Paige, what did you see from your teammates in Europe, and how much did you enjoy the trip?
It was great. It was an amazing trip, once-in-a-lifetime experience. All the things that were great on the court and off the court, built amazing memories and just stuff that we'll remember for the rest of our life. But I think I saw just a lot of, we barely practiced, probably I had like 6 or 7 practices before we went out to play. But you just saw a competitive style, like a hunger and a passion. And I think I saw a lot of great things from the freshmen. It's hard coming in here as a freshman and having a great amount of confidence, especially coming in here to UConn with great expectations and great pressure. But I saw great things from them and great things from the whole team. Obviously, things we have to work on, but the overall starting picture was great.
Paige, have you noticed anything different about Gino from either last year to this year, or just coming back into the fold of being in practice?
Nah, he's the same old coach. But I would say, obviously, I was in a different perspective last year. He wasn't really coaching me as much as he is now. But no, I would say no differences really.
What was it like watching Nika last year? She had this historical season, and how have you seen her grown?
It was amazing to watch Nika last year. I know she felt a lot of pressure before the season even started, with me going down and her feeling like she had to sort of fill my role and do much more than she had in the seasons prior. And for her to fulfill that and even do more than was expected was amazing to see. I mean, she was the best point guard in the country last year. So just to see that and to see her growth and maturity level grow, to see where we were as freshmen and now as we're seniors now, there's been a whole lot of growth, and she, like I said, she's one of the best point guards in the country, and I think she's a tremendous leader. She's one of the leaders on our team, and everybody follows her. She works hard, and she sets a great example on the court and off the court as well.
You mentioned senior year. Are you treating this as your senior year? You could obviously come back for another, and you've always said you wanted the college experience. I mean,
Yeah.
it does depend on how the team does. What's the future for you?
I don't know. I guess we'll see. Like I said before, from what I've learned over the past couple of years is just never take the future for granted. Stay in the moment. Stay in the present. But I don't know. I don't know what I'm calling this year. But I would say I'm a senior. I've taken 3 years of classes. It will be my 4th year classes. So classes, yeah. So senior in classes.
Have you and Nika kind of sat down and reflected together was senior year, whatever you want to call it, but just like, holy cow, where did the time go?
Yeah, I mean, we say it all the time, like, just in stuff where it's like, all right, seniors are here. Like, me and Nika look at each other and we're like, bro, we're already seniors. Like, this is crazy. I felt like it was just yesterday that we were freshmen coming onto campus in the COVID season, just sort of being new on the scene, not really knowing what to expect, and now we're here being the leaders and seniors of this team. It's kind of crazy how time flew by.
Paige, when you have to sit and watch practice, sit and watch games, I mean, you know a lot of basketball. Did you learn anything new about the game, sitting there and just taking it in from a different perspective for the time you had?
Yeah, I think it makes you think of basketball in a different way. I think when you're playing, you're only focused on like you and what you can be doing better, and not really seeing what the other team's tendencies were. And other teams' habits. So as a person on the sideline, I saw a lot of that, and what I try to communicate that with my teammates, whether it be Nika or anybody else out on the floor, just seeing what the other team's habits were and what we can do to sort of counteract that. It makes you think in like a wider perspective than where you're thinking about basketball when you're playing. You're just sort of thinking like what's going on in that exact moment. It sort of makes you think like a few plays ahead and more like just scheming wise, I would say.
Paige, before
given
you,
given all that, what do you think fans are going to see when you go out and play for the first time, and maybe they have not seen before that it's been a long time?
I think just overwhelming feeling of passion. I was saying this the other day. I think I'm going to interact with the crowd much more than Coach and CD would want. But I've just missed it so much, and I hope that when the fans watch or when the people come, they either watch it on TV or in the stadium, they see how much I miss the game. I think just my passion and my joy, just getting that back and just have fun playing the game of basketball again. That's what I want them to see.
Any one of your teammates that you feel like has made a really big jump over the summer, or any of the freshmen that you think we should be keeping our eyes on?
Yeah, I think all the freshmen. I think Ice, she hadn't played a game yet this season, and I think she's kind of flown under the radar in terms of just being somebody that we were going to really need this season, and somebody that we could have used last season. I've seen her work extremely hard. Me and her did a lot of our rehab together, and we've grown our relationship a lot this past year. So I'm excited for her and the future that she has this year.
Paige, a year plus ago, before you realized you'd have to spend so much time working on one particular body part, you talked about just wanting to be stronger overall to absorb contact from really physical defensive players. Were you able to make strides with that,
Step out on the court, I feel like I'm ready for whatever defense is going to throw at me. And I know people this year are going to like test me, push me around, make sure I'm really healthy, make sure my knee's really good, and use physicality as like a weapon against me. So I'm ready for that. I feel like I prepare my body more than ever than I have before for that reason.
Give us a bicep flex or no?
I got my t-shirt on. If I have my little cutoff on, I would.
Obviously, you guys, the talent we saw in Europe was different than the talent you're going to see in the college season. But how is what you guys did in Europe going to help you this season?
It was really great just to sort of set the standard of what we want to be this whole season. Team that plays with a lot of things, offense, defense, pushing the ball, picking up full court. So I think it was great to sort of set the tone of what we're going to do this whole season. Obviously, we didn't get to work on it as much as we would have, so it was sort of like just thrown into the fire type of thing. But to be able to set that tone and show the freshmen and show the whole team what we're going to look like this whole entire year, and how we're going to get better as we keep working on it and building on these things, I think it was a really great way to
Get us on the page. No, today. Okay. No worries. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it was probably around like the 7 or 8 month mark where I was starting doing more like workouts where I would go up for layups and someone would hit me with the ball and I would have to work on my landing. But a lot of it was like off the court stuff. Like I'd be in the weight room and I'd be jumping off boxes and making sure my knees are staying out when I'm landing. But I would say it was a lot of preparation before I even stepped out on the court so that when the time comes when I go up for a layup and I get hit and I fall or I go up and I land awkwardly, like I feel confident landing that way. I'm not even thinking about it. So I would say around like the 7 or 8 month mark, but it was honestly before I even stepped out on the court.
Did you ask before about this is going to be your senior year? When you're making money like in the NIL, an athlete like you, does that change the perspective of like maybe staying a little longer because you are making some money? Does that factor into it at all?
No, that's really not a factor at all for me. I've said before, like I just love the college experience. I love being here at UConn and putting on that UConn jersey every single day. And I just have tremendous pride playing here and playing for this program. And I came here and I wanted to come here but a little bit before NIL even started. So that really has no factor into my decision. It's more just the basketball aspect, the school aspect.
Paige,
Thanks, Paige. Sorry. Thank you.